Hello, everybody. I just want to say before I get started, I want to thank every one of you who has been sticking around to watch this mini-series. It's been in production for a very long time. I actually started it last year, and knowing that I'm finally going to be finished with it is going to be a really big load off my chest because I've had to postpone it so many times, and I wasn't able to finish it without the rest of those OCs that I got from Golden Fox. On an additional note, I want to thank Golden Fox, who has been making the sprites for my OC. I can imagine it was a time-consuming process, and I appreciate that he really did take the time to make something for me when I needed it. I also want to thank RB Comics, who paid Golden Fox for the first 10 poses of my OC, which he was actually planning to use for a collab with me that we never ended up doing. Maybe we can do it sometime next year when I have more free time on my hands. Keep in mind that after this video, I will not be putting out any more content for the rest of the year. Maybe I'll do one video at most, because I really have to get ready for things that I'm gonna be doing next year. So I thank you for your time, sit back, relax, and enjoy my final confession. Of all the things that I've learned in the 24 3/4 years that I've been living, one thing has always been consistent. As time passes, things change. And people change too. We develop different interests, we talk to different groups of people, we walk down different paths as we get older, but the inevitable fact is, we all change. People like the old me don't want us to change. They insist that everything should come around to their way of thinking. They go out of their way to convince others and themselves that they're right about something, and they talk down to anyone who doesn't agree with them. They believe that everything should go the way they want it to go, and that anyone who doesn't think the same way as them should be outcasted. That's a horrible thing to believe in, and especially if they're a fan of My Little Pony. There's nothing wrong with pointing out mistakes, but getting angry at people isn't going to help anyone. The phrase "everyone is a critic" holds weight because of how everyone feels about things. We're all critics because we all want good stories. We shouldn't be ashamed of who we are or the people around us. We should be able to make our own decisions and allow others to do the same. And if they're not making any wise decisions, we should help them in a way that's encouraging and helpful and not harmful in any way. There was a time when I was being ignorant and disrespectful, but a lot of time has passed since then. And in that time, I've experienced a lot of things. I've made friends. I've learned more about other people that I never would have if I never just took the time to listen to them. And in a way, that's part of what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to be friends with anyone that I can so they don't just appear as random strangers that I come across. They'd become a reason for me to keep on going. Someone I can have a good laugh with, share an interesting conversation with, help cheer up and feel better, and fill with confidence whenever they feel sad or hurt about something. And I think a lot of what I've accomplished and how much I've made a difference in others' lives has come from what I've done with my time as a YouTube content creator. 10 years ago, I never would have imagined that I would be doing this with my time. And I wouldn't have gone through all of this if I hadn't changed, if I didn't become a fan of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I want to continue to grow as a person through my YouTube content. And a part of growing up is actually getting to know all sorts of different people, becoming friends with them, and even helping them through my content. And whatever happens in the future, I want to feel like I am making a difference in people's lives through my identity as MisAnthro Pony. I'm not a smart person, but I do know what it means to feel, to have emotion for something. Every single time I see something, I have a certain emotional reaction to it. I feel something whenever I watch it, whenever I listen to it, even whenever I talk about it. And as those emotions evolve, so does my growth as a human being. It becomes stronger with each new experience, and it finds a new haven with all the friends I've made. I keep being told that I need to learn how to be independent in order to have a good life, but even then, I'm completely happy the way things are now. I don't have a lot of money, but I do have a house and food to eat, a family that I can go to, and thousands of people over the internet who look up to me and think of me as an equal and even a figure of guidance. I can't get a job, I only have a couple $100 in my wallet, and I'm living with my mom. But I'm not sad about any of that, because I'm doing the only thing that should be expected of me. I'm living my life and being a good person in someone else's. And I have been doing that through my friendship with Leah and Emily and Golden Fox and all the people who have been giving me comments saying that I help them feel good, that I help them feel better, that I motivate them, that I give them confidence, that I have helped depressed people make it through another day. And whenever I feel like I'm in a state of weakness, I myself can go to people that I look up to, who have given me confidence too. A while ago, I talked with Sketchy the Changeling about how we've been getting a little bit more acquainted with each other. The thing is, I was actually surprised that he was willing to go anywhere near me, considering that I was so butthurt over the Pinky drama. He wasn't one of those people that was so repetitive about it. He just said how he felt, and he wasn't really condescending about it, which is the way everyone should be, really. I told him about how I felt, and he gave me advice on how I can't always be taking things too seriously. And at the end of it all, I thanked him for being a good friend and giving me some good advice. And it was actually very nice of him to take time to actually do something for me, because I wanted to make this opening gag for one of my reviews, and he actually took the time to do it. He didn't think that it was a chore, that I just suddenly asked him of this. He actually wanted to do something for me, and I am so happy that he wanted to take time for me, and I have thanked him before for it. But just in case, I just want to say thank you, Sketchy, for taking the time to do something for me. I really appreciate it. And then there's Manga Kamen, who has actually asked me to be a part of his videos twice. He's actually a pretty, really down-to-earth kind of guy, and he's fun to watch and listen to. And he even thinks of me as a friend. He mentioned it when he was doing his little video about how Ash lost the Kalos League. And even if I don't spend a lot of time talking to him, I've always appreciated the times that I get to just say something to him, like an exchange of words. I even remember showing him my script for a joke review of the first Uncharted game. I'm really hoping that at some point we'll eventually get to do that Mr. Enter collab commentary, because it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and seeing as how we both have particularly interesting opinions on the guy, it's something that I'm looking forward to. RB Comics, he's a pretty cool guy too. We just ended up coming across each other while we were in a conversation on Skype. I think it was FNGR that kind of got us together. I'm not sure what it was. But in the time that we've known each other, I've been watching his reviews, and we've had some pretty cool talks. I've even gotten a chance to have a discussion with him on Charon's Bell, which was this story about a sheep who seeks revenge against a wolf. I saw his review of it, and I was very interested in what he had to say. It was a collab with this other guy. And I told him that I was interested in doing a moral of the story kind of thing with this movie, like what Brony Buck does for MLP. We were supposed to do a collab on the CMC stream episodes, which honestly never ended up getting off the ground, which is a shame because we worked really, really hard on that script, and we even worked with this girl who helped organize our grammar and the things that we would be saying. And even if we haven't really thought about it since, I'm kind of hoping that someday we'll actually be able to do it because it is a fun idea and we worked really hard on that script. It just might be a while before we get a chance to do our lines for the script. I've had some fun chats with Watchful Swiftwift, who is actually Watchful Pony, and I really think he deserves more recognition than he already has. It's really painful for me to know that someone who is so good at speaking their mind only has, like, a little bit over 100 subscribers. Perhaps someday he'll get the recognition he deserves. Now, I don't want to brag here, but, if I'm going to be hitting 3,000 subscribers at some point, then I guess I'm gonna have to start singing. I wouldn't say that I'm unprepared because I have had some practice. I've done a song with The Secret Dreamer and Artistic Passion. I'm pretty sure that I'm more than able to pull off a solo. And in the meantime, I should still be able to do my videos and talk to people, like I have been since last year, and I gotta say that Skype is amazing. When I first found it, it was so awesome and unlike anything I've ever had to do before. You can talk with people over the internet with this real-time face chat and phone call thing, and you can do it without having to pay any extra money. One of the first conversations I had was early in the morning. It was a while after the keyframe aftermath, and there was this guy who was really, really into my stuff, and he wanted to talk to me about how I'm able to entertain him and feel better about himself. He had a story about how his grandparents had unfortunately passed on, and hopefully they're very happy together. An interesting conversation I had with him was, he's an atheist, and I believe that there is something beyond death. He started getting into the science of things, and I brought up a very interesting point that I heard before. Science is why. God is how. So there's no reason to believe that believing in something and having logical reasonings with science cannot coincide. I'm smart enough to understand when science has said something about something, but I'm always free to believe in something for myself. And I don't have to get mad with people just because they don't have the same belief as me. That was something that I showed him when we were having that talk, and it was one of the more interesting conversations I've had on Skype. Unfortunately, it was a long time ago, even from last year and several months. I forgot who it was. I'm gonna have to hope that sometime I'll be able to remember who it was. And amongst my fans, there was this girl who I first talked with on Google+. We talked about this really interesting idea. It sounded like something out of Fallout Equestria, how there were different sanctions and empires that were being controlled by different leaders. Celestia, Luna, Twilight, the Zebras, and a neutral party. It was a really cool concept, and she even made a Tumblr following my Golden Fox rant, talking about how you can rant and still be a good person. And at the time, even though I was being an asshole, I was thinking of ways that I could have a proper conversation with others. And the conversation that we had, I think she kept that in mind when we had that Google Plus chat. She's actually one of the very earliest fans of mine, and it's nice to know that she saw good in me in a time when I wasn't at my best, in terms of my behavior. My King of Limbo with FNGR, Biter, and Mage was actually an interesting one for me. I got to talk about how I was interested in some writing and how I had read some books that I remember from school and the stuff that I've been doing after I completed some classes in college, and even some very personal interests that got me into reviewing. And since then, I have been friends with Biter and Mage despite our differences. I remember I talked with Mage about how I was nervous about the result of the election, and let's be honest, nobody was going to win with the result of anything having to do with the election. We had a good chat, and then she had to go. I think she had to get some sleep or make some food or something. And I also had this call with Biter. It was during the eve of my Lily Pete thing. It was a long call. We talked for hours about the way that the show represents its morals and when Rarity got her boutique. And we even talked about this little thing where we mess around with how you have this 3-word phrase and all the words start with the same letter. Like, the example he used was Mystery on the Friendship Express, where he talked about how the episode was having so much fun with the mystery aspect. We ended up with Missy's Mozzarella Sticks. Yeah, it was actually a really fun call, and he's actually a pretty down-to-earth and stand-up guy once you actually take some time to speak with him. And Geeky Steven, oh boy, I've really been meaning to do that review of Twilight's Princess with him, but he's been getting caught up in his own stuff as I have, and I'm really hoping that I get to do it with him next year because he actually is a good reviewer. I remember there was a time when he was feeling down, and me and Pashy were doing our best to help cheer him up, and what Pashy did was she drew a picture of him eating a Reese's. Because he loves Reese's. He can be stubborn, in which he got in a fight with Limbo, but he's very well-meaning, and he's very outspoken about how he feels. And it's great to know that I can think of him as a friend that I can lean on to whenever we have to cheer each other up about something. I've also had some nice chats with TK and Eliora. That first time I met them back in 2014 was a very nostalgic time for me, and even after that, when I got a chance to meet TK at Anime Midwest 2015, he was actually forgiving of my mistakes, and he wanted to get to know me a little bit better, and he gave me another chance by becoming a contact of mine on Skype. And since then, we took a picture, and we have gotten into some interesting talks whenever there's a group call on any kind of, chat that we're in. And Eliora, she is so thankful that I helped raise awareness on the keyframe situation. She just thanked me so much. And she even warned me ahead of time to not do any more shipping with TK and her because they ended up breaking up, and in that time I have been in so many group chats like the Rift, the Secret Rift, the Brony Lounge, and Limbo, and anything can happen in any of those chats, and I've come across some pretty interesting things. And it's always either funny or amusing or interesting to learn more about these other people just by seeing what they type or what they express when they're in these group chats. Now, I've already gone into detail about my relationship with Golden Fox and Mint Heart and Artistic Passion, and it was just so great knowing that they can all come together and help me feel better about myself. And they even gave me some birthday wishes. And that video, that Artistic Passion that Leah made for me, it was one of the nicest things anyone ever did for me. I was literally just tearing up, and I was in a call with her when we were doing it. I was staying at a hotel with my family. It was part of my mom's birthday gift to me. She showed it to me in the call, and I just let her know how happy she made me feel after seeing that video. I still have it on my desktop, and I listen to it every once in a while, and it just makes me feel so happy that I've made a difference in her life and she's made a difference in mine too. So much so that I returned the favor for her when I got a couple of people together to make her a birthday video. She is such a good kid. And she can literally do anything. She's a good artist. Like, she showed me this really, really good painting of an apple that she did in school, and it was just incredible. The texture and the detail and the way that the colors just mash up against each other, it just looked like a professional piece. And she's also a good singer. I've listened to several of her things, and I've always enjoyed listening to her sing, even when we're in Skype calls. It's just nice letting her be herself and letting her embrace that about herself. Sometimes I have to reassure her when she has self-confidence issues, and she's always appreciated everything I've done for her. And the same goes for Mintheart, which is Emily. And even though I haven't always been around for her, she always appreciates the time that we share. We have funny and feisty conversations on Skype, and we've even had a couple of calls. I remember just recently, I literally ate a box of Bertie Bott's every flavored beans because she's a Harry Potter nut. I thought I was gonna die when I ate the bogey flavored ones and the vomit flavored ones, and there was a soap flavored one. She just enjoyed listening to me torture myself so much, and I think the best part about it was just listening to her reaction, knowing that I was just being so silly, and she was enjoying all the effort that I was putting into being as silly as I possibly could. Yeah, those are all the things that I have gotten myself into since I stopped being a jerk and I started opening up to other people. And even then, I still feel like I have a long way to go. Even though I've been through a lot of great things, that's not gonna get me far. I remember FNGR was recently telling me that I should see a doctor and not just wait around for a moment with Dr. Wolf. And that is what I have been doing. I have been going to doctors with my mom, and I have been talking about my frustrations with things that I have been through, and I'm hoping that it will help me open up more and be more honest about how I really feel about things that I've been through. I don't want anyone to worry about me even when I show signs of weakness and not being very happy and upbeat. But even then, in only 2 years, I have been through so much, and I know I'm going to go through a lot more in the future, both the good and the bad. Honestly, my whole life has been watching other people live theirs. My friends, my family, celebrities, sports teams, politicians, movie makers, book writers, actors, voice actors, people on YouTube, people in the Brony fandom. So many people out there are just living their lives. If I'm really going to live mine, I have to get started. And I think it's going to start with everything that I'm going to talk about in my reviews of anything, whether they be pony related or not. And honestly, I never would have gotten this far if it wasn't for you. The support of people who really, truly believed in me and have seen me for how much I have changed with the passing of time. And I cannot thank you enough for what you have given me. I love you, all of you, each and every one of you. My regular viewers, my fans, my subscribers, people who have commented on my things, people who have sent me private messages, even people who simply saw my video in their suggestion box and clicked on it to listen to what I have to say. You all contributed to my evolution as the person I am now. and I honestly never want to imagine how different my life would have been if I never started making those videos. In a strange way, I'm happy that I made those rant videos. I'm happy that I made those mistakes, because without those mistakes, I never would have learned from them. I never would have opened up to other people. I never would have grown into someone who can just be more optimistic and be more social. I never would have found so many friends and family that I could think of as people that I want to interact with. And that is literally the best feeling that I can possibly get. I remember I was talking with this other guy that I'm contacted with. We talked about how we each make our own content, and while the content itself is great, nothing is better than knowing that what we do is making other people smile. It's going to take a lot of work, and I know it's not gonna be easy. But I know if I just keep going down this path while truly believing in myself and truly wanting to make a difference somehow, somewhere, then I don't have to worry about any worries in my life. And you, my fair viewers, can look forward to seeing more from Christian Thomas Diaz. Again, thank you all so much for what you have given me. A chance to be a better person. Until I come back, remember to take care of yourselves and have a great day. MisAnthro Pony, over and out.